Christmas Eve 2025, Tennis World Shock. Steffi Graf breaks her silence. December 24th, 2025. While the world is busy wrapping Christmas gifts, drinking hot chocolate, and arguing with relatives about whose stuffing is best, the tennis world has just received not one, but two shocking announcements that have made everyone stop in their tracks. And frankly, you won't believe what just happened. Imagine this. A 20-year-old player just won a historic gold medal, earned over $1.5 million in prize money, and then did something that made even legends pause. She didn't buy a Ferrari. She didn't buy a luxury penthouse in some flashy city. She didn't vacation in the Maldives. She bought a house worth $1.65 million. But here's the point that brings everyone to tears. That house is not for her. It is for her parents. Her name is Alexandra Eala, the pride of the Philippines. The athlete who just broke a 26-year drought with a women's singles gold medal at the SEA Games. And if you think the story ends there, you are dead wrong. Because just a few hours later, a name appeared that made every tennis fan sit up straight. Steffi Graf. Steffi Graf, 22 Grand Slams. Former world number one. The only woman in history to achieve the Golden Slam in 1988. Steffi Graf, who never does this, just declared Alex Eala as the brightest diamond of the next generation and committed to a 5-year mentorship. Not a one-off training session, not a charity photo shoot, a real long-term partnership. Before we dive deep into this blockbuster story, I want to say something important. We just hit the 1,000 subscriber mark at Pro Tennis 360. This isn't just a number, it's a community. And if you haven't subscribed yet, you are missing out on crazy stories like this. Click subscribe and turn on notifications right now. Because trust me, what's coming next is much bigger. Now let's explore the story that shook the tennis world this Christmas Eve. The flex culture has killed the meaning of success. To understand why this story is so different, you first need to understand modern sports culture. We are living in an era of excess. The era of showing off. The era of Instagram stories flaunting a Lamborghini with a red bow for Christmas. Let's be honest. Every week, there's a story about some 20-year-old sports star buying their third mansion or second private jet. The culture has become about flexing, showing the world how you've made it. When you see another photo of a diamond-encrusted watch or a garage tour with cars worth more than most people's homes, you scroll past without a thought. It is just noise, and we have become numb to it. That is why this story cuts through all that noise like a clean forehand down the line. Alexandra Eala, the pride of the Philippines, the new SEA Games gold medalist, the breakout star of the 2025 WTA Tour, did something no one expected. She took the $1,650,000 in hard-earned prize money from the year and made a purchase. Not a Ferrari, not a penthouse in a glamorous city, not a holiday home in the Maldives. She bought a house, a beautiful property valued at $1.65 million. And here is the key point that moved everyone. It was not for her. It was for her parents. Let that sink in for a second. A 20-year-old at the peak of her earning potential, coming off the best year of her career, takes the biggest sum she has ever earned and turns it into a gift for those who raised her. No press release. No sponsored Instagram post with captions like #blessed or #family first. Just a quiet transaction. A set of keys. And according to sources close to the family, there were many happy tears on Christmas Eve morning. This was not an impulsive decision. Those close to the Eala family say this was a promise Alex made to herself years ago, back when she was struggling through junior tournaments, sleeping in budget hotels, and dreaming of big success. She promised herself that when she made it, truly made it, the first thing she would do is take care of the people who sacrificed everything to get her there. And today, she kept that promise. Backstory. The sacrifice of the Eala family. It's not a gift, it's a repayment. To understand the weight of this gesture, you must understand the journey. Mike and Riza Eala didn't just support their daughter's tennis dream. They bet everything on it. We are talking about years of travel, coaching fees, tournament entry fees, equipment, nutritionists, physiotherapists, and all the invisible costs that come with trying to succeed in one of the most expensive sports on the planet. Tennis isn't like football, where you can be scouted from a local league. This is a global war that requires constant travel, constant investment, often with no guarantee of a return. The Eala family mortgaged their own comfort for their daughter's potential, and they did it without complaining, without hesitation, because they believed in her. So when Alex walked into their lives this Christmas with the deed to a house worth over $1.5 million, this wasn't just a gift. This was a repayment. This is proof that their faith wasn't misplaced, that their sacrifice wasn't in vain, that every early morning trip to the court, every anxious moment watching from the stands, it was all worth it. Now, if you think that's where the story ends, with a beautiful act of filial piety that warms the heart and reminds us of the good in humanity, then you haven't been paying attention to the chaos happening in real time. Because while the story of the house was spreading like wildfire through tennis circles and social media, another bombshell dropped just hours later that took this story from touching to absolute history. And this bombshell involves a name that makes every tennis fan sit up: Steffi Graf. Bombshell. Steffi Graf enters the chat. Steffi Graf calls Alex the brightest diamond. Steffi Graf, 22 Grand Slams. Former world number 1. The woman who achieved the Golden Slam in 1988, winning all 4 Grand Slams and the Olympic gold medal in the same year, a feat never repeated in women's tennis. Steffi Graf, who has largely stayed out of the spotlight since retirement, living a quiet life in Las Vegas with husband Andre Agassi and their family. Steffi Graf, who does not exaggerate. She doesn't scatter compliments. She is famously selective about who she aligns herself with in the tennis world. That Steffi Graf just made a statement about Alexandra that is sending shockwaves through every corner of the sport. She called Alex the brightest diamond of the next generation. Read that again. Not a bright talent. Not someone to watch. The brightest diamond. Superlative. Definite article. When Steffi Graf speaks, everyone listens. And when Steffi Graf picks one player out of an entire generation of rising stars, you can be sure that statement carries a weight that could crush coal into real diamonds. But it's even bigger. And this is where tennis fans need to brace themselves. This isn't just a compliment. This isn't just Steffi being kind to a young player. Reports are emerging that Graf has committed to a 5-year mentorship role with Alexandra. 5 years. Not a one-off training session. Not a photo op at a charity event. A real long-term partnership between one of the greatest to ever hold a racket and the girl from the Philippines who just bought her parents a house. Let's be clear about what this means. Steffi Graf does not do this. She has had countless opportunities over the years to coach, mentor, or attach her name to rising players, and she has consistently declined. She has watched from a distance, offering the occasional comment, but has never fully committed to guiding someone's career. The fact that she is doing it now, and doing it for Alex, is a flashing neon sign to the entire tennis world. Pay attention, because something special is happening here. Historical context. Mentor relationships that change tennis. When legends mentor champions, the results are transformative. To understand the magnitude of this, look at history. When Boris Becker worked with Novak Djokovic, we saw an immediate elevation in Novak's game and mental approach. When Ivan Lendl joined Andy Murray's team, Murray finally broke through to win Grand Slams. The blueprint exists for what happens when a legend mentors a champion, and the results are transformative. But Steffi Graf is in a category of her own. She isn't just a great player. She is the icon who defined an era. For her to step down from her quiet retirement, point at a 20-year-old girl, and say she is the one, that isn't just an endorsement. It is a coronation. The timing of this Christmas double, as it has been called, couldn't be more cinematic. We are just days away from one of the most important moments in Philippine tennis history. The 33rd SEA Games just concluded in Thailand. And if you weren't watching, you missed something special. On the hard courts of the National Tennis Development Center in Nonthaburi, Alexandra Eala did what no Filipino woman had done in 26 years. She won the women's singles gold medal. The last time the Philippines stood on the highest podium was in 1999 when Marieshan Feliciano Fernandez won gold. For over a quarter of a century, the country waited. There were near misses, silver medals that felt like defeats, and bitter bronzes. There were generations of talented players who got close but couldn't fully break through. And then there was Eala, carrying the hopes of an entire nation, playing before a hostile crowd in Thailand. And she didn't just win, she dominated. The final against Thailand's Manankaya, Sawanki, was supposed to be competitive. Sawanki had the home crowd. She had the momentum. She had nothing to lose. What she didn't have was an answer for the storm Alex brought. 6-1, 6-2. The score looks comfortable on paper, but it doesn't capture the totality of the performance. Alex moved around the court like she owned it, dictating play from the very first point, never giving her opponent a chance to settle. The performance, dominance under pressure. Playing before a hostile crowd and turning them into fans. Playing before a biased crowd is one of the hardest things to do in sports. The noise, the energy, it's all directed at you, trying to break your focus, trying to make you feel small. Eala didn't just endure it. She turned the crowd into admirers. By the end of the match, even the Thai fans were applauding her shots. That is dominance. That is when you transcend the competition and force everyone to acknowledge greatness. And perhaps that is exactly what caught Steffi Graf's eye. Winning a gold at a regional event is good, but Graf has seen plenty of players win regional titles who never translate that success to the global stage. What she likely saw in that final, and throughout Alex's 2025 season, was something deeper. She saw character. She saw calm under pressure. She saw a player who had the technical skills, sure, but more importantly, had the mental toughness to thrive when the stakes were highest. And then when Graf learned about the house, about the quiet promise kept to parents who sacrificed everything, she saw something even rarer. She saw groundedness. She saw maturity. She saw a player who understands that tennis is important, but it isn't everything. That kind of perspective is what separates a champion from the shooting stars who only burn bright for a few seasons. Let's talk about that 2025 season for a moment, because the prize money that funded this house didn't appear out of thin air. Eala earned every cent, and she earned it the hard way. This was the year she broke through on the WTA Tour in a way that had analysts rushing to update their predictions. Her run to the semifinals of the Miami Open earlier in the year was legendary. Miami is one of the biggest tournaments outside of the Grand Slams, with a draw full of top players and pressure that can crush even experienced pros. Alex navigated through it, taking down higher-ranked opponents, playing with a fearlessness that belied her age. She won her first WTA 125 title, proving she can win at the pro level. She racked up victories against players who had been on the tour for years, players who were supposed to have too much experience for a rising star to handle. But Alex didn't get the memo about what she was supposed to be able to do, so she just went out and did it. The discipline, stacking money with purpose. While peers upgraded their lifestyle, she upgraded her parents' future. And unlike many young players who get their first taste of significant prize money and immediately start living like rock stars, Alex clearly had a different plan. She was stacking that money tournament by tournament with a single purpose. While her peers were upgrading their lifestyles, she was upgrading her parents' future. That takes discipline. It takes vision. It takes a level of maturity most people don't develop until they are in their 30s, if at all. And it is that same discipline and vision that makes her a scary prospect for the rest of the WTA Tour. Because if she can delay gratification like that, if she can stay focused on a long-term goal while everyone around her is chasing short-term pleasure, then what is going to stop her when she sets her sights on a Grand Slam title? The brightest diamond comment from Steffi Graf will follow Eala for the rest of her career, and that is both a blessing and a burden. Diamonds are formed under pressure. And there's about to be a massive amount of pressure on this young girl. Expectations have just gone from promising prospect to future Grand Slam champion. Every match she plays in 2026 will be scrutinized. Every loss will be analyzed for signs of weakness. Every win will be measured against the Graf standard. The media will be relentless. The cameras will always be looking for Steffi in the player's box. The comparisons will be endless. And through all of that, Alex will have to go out and play tennis, which is hard enough without carrying the weight of expectation commissioned by a legend. The SEA Games gold medal also cannot be underestimated for what it means for tennis in the region. For decades, tennis has been dominated by players from Europe, North America, and increasingly Australia. Asia has produced champions like Li Na from China and Naomi Osaka representing Japan. But the Philippines has been waiting for its global tennis icon. Eala is positioning herself to be that icon. She isn't just representing herself anymore. She is carrying the dreams of an entire nation. The stakes, carrying a nation's dreams. Every time she steps on court, millions of Filipinos are watching. Every time she steps on court at a Grand Slam, millions of Filipinos will be watching, believing they can see themselves in her success. The brightest diamond endorsement from Graf will be plastered on billboards in Manila. It will be in Nike ads, in tourism campaigns. It is the kind of marketing gold that transcends sports. But it only works because it is authentic. Steffi Graf doesn't lend her name to things that aren't worthy. So when she says Alex is the brightest diamond, people believe it. We are heading into the 2026 season, and the narrative has completely changed. The Australian Open is just around the corner, and you can bet every journalist with a credential will be looking for the Eala story. They will want to know about the house, about Graf, about the gold medal, about the pressure. And Alex will have to navigate all of that while actually trying to win tennis matches, which, remember, is incredibly hard even without the circus. First rounds of Grand Slams are always tricky. You're rusty, you're nervous, and your opponent has nothing to lose. If Alex can get through the early rounds and build momentum, we could be looking at a deep run that validates everything Graf sees in her. But if she stumbles early, the skeptics will be quick to pounce, suggesting that maybe the hype was premature, that maybe buying a house and collecting mentorships doesn't translate to Grand Slam success. I don't buy that narrative for a second. Eala has shown us repeatedly that she rises to the occasion. The bigger the moment, the better she plays. That isn't something you can teach. That is wired into a competitor's DNA. She had the entire weight of Philippine tennis history on her shoulders at the SEA Games, and she responded by crushing her opponent in straight sets. She was the underdog in matches throughout 2025, and she constantly found ways to win. Now she has the greatest female player of the Open era in her corner, providing technical advice, strategic guidance, and perhaps most importantly, mental coaching on how to handle the pressure that comes with being the one. The timeline, a 5-year journey to greatness. Graf's 5-year commitment equals a blueprint for dominance. If anyone knows about handling pressure and expectation, it's Steffi Graf, who handled it for years while dominating the sport. The 5-year commitment from Graf is also significant. This isn't a short-term project. This is a long-term investment in Alex's development, suggesting that Graf sees the timeline for Grand Slam success and wants to be there for the whole journey. 5 years takes us to 2030, when Alex will be 25 years old, right in the prime age bracket for women's tennis. If the Graf plan works, we could be looking at multiple Grand Slam titles, a potential world #1 ranking, and an era-defining player. That isn't hyperbole. That is the trajectory Graf is placing her on. And if it happens, if Eala becomes the champion Graf believes she can be, this Christmas Eve of 2025 will be remembered as the moment everything changed. The house purchase is also a signal to the rest of the tour that Eala is different. In a sport where so many players get caught up in the lifestyle, where the signs of success can become distractions, Alex has shown her priorities are exactly where they should be. She took care of her family first. She honored the people who got her here. That kind of character doesn't go unnoticed in the locker room. Other players see that and they respect it. Respect in the locker room might not seem important, but it matters. It affects how umpires treat you, how linesmen call close balls, how the crowd reacts to you. When you are known as a good person who does the right thing, people root for you. And In close matches, having that invisible factor on your side can make the difference. The emotional weight of this story is also something we need to acknowledge. In a year that has been challenging for everyone, full of uncertainty and hardship, we get this story on Christmas Eve about a young girl who made a promise and kept it. We get a story about sacrifice repaid, about hard work rewarded, about a legend recognizing excellence. It is the kind of story that reminds us why we care about sports in the first place. It isn't just about the scores. It's about the journey, the character, the humanity behind the competition. Eala has given us all a gift by showing us that success doesn't have to be destructive, that you can reach the top without losing sight of where you came from. 2026, the year of Eala, and we will be here for all of it. So as we sit here on Christmas Eve, watching this story unfold in real time, we are witnessing the birth of a superstar. All the pieces are in place. The talent is undeniable. The mentorship is secured. The family is taken care of. The motivation is pure. And the entire tennis world is watching. 2026 is going to be the year of Eala, and we will all be here for it. Every match, every press conference, every moment will be analyzed and celebrated because we know we are watching something special. This isn't potential anymore. This is realization. The breakthrough has broken through. I want to hear from you in the comments. What was your reaction to Steffi Graf calling Alex the brightest diamond? Is that the kind of endorsement that pushes a player to greatness, or does it create too much pressure? And what about the house purchase? Would you do the same for your parents if you were in Alex's position? Let's get a conversation going, because this community is built on passionate tennis fans with opinions, and I want to hear them all. If this story gave you chills, if it made you believe in the good that sports can bring to the world, then do me a favor and hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow and helps us bring you more unbelievable stories like this. And if you haven't subscribed to Pro Tennis 360, what are you waiting for? We just hit 1,000 subscribers, and we're aiming for the next 5,000. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss a single moment of what is shaping up to be the most exciting era in tennis. The game is evolving, the stars are rising, and you want to be here for all of it. Merry Christmas to everyone celebrating today. Hug your family, appreciate the people who got you to where you are, and keep your eyes on the court because history is being written. Eala has shown us what is possible when talent meets character, when hard work meets opportunity, when a promise made is a promise kept. The brightest diamond is shining, and the world is about to see just how bright she can be. See you in the next video, and thank you for being a part of this journey with us. This is Pro Tennis 360, and we are just getting started.